43rd anniversary of the original Rocky.
Thanks for bringing that up. Right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it puts so many different people on the map. This thing still lives in infamy. When you look back on that film, what does it mean to you?
Well, it's to me, it's miraculous. Everything I've ever accomplished in life will be, traced back to that. It's like saying I existed. I did something that is bigger than me. It's really nice.
You inspired people.
It wasn't intentional. Who knew? You know what I mean?
So that wasn't your intention. Do you feel like that's...
I wish I could say it was a clever move. I was manipulating people. No. I was just trying to I was basically trying to tell my story. And I didn't realize it would resonate with so many people. So
I mean, generations of people to overcome odds and obstacles. I think that's just so beautiful. And if that's your life's purpose, then 100% good for you. Before we let you go, prediction in the rematch. I know we kind of discussed it earlier.
Oh, God. Nothing against Joshua, because I think he's excellent. I have to go with the underdog. You know that.
Yeah.
That's my life.
Look at that chain.
Yeah, man.
That looks like, what is that? At least 100K.
Man, I'm. You know your shit. You know your shit.
I've seen those retail for at least 100.
You know what I'm saying? It's so heavy. I like wearing this one because it's like, especially like fight time. Right. It's so heavy on my neck. It's like training or whatever. You know what I mean? Even when I'm laying down, it's training. It's so heavy. Because sometimes
Do you really use it as a neck workout?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
For sure. Like just
life's purpose, then 100%.
wearing it around is like. It's just almost like having a vest, a weighted vest. You ever worked out with a weighted vest? Yeah, man.
That's what it's like. And it's a Cuban link.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like the art of the ring walk is back. Israel Adesanya had an epic, walkout to his UFC fight. You always look fresh on your walkouts, man. Give us, what you got planned for this Ortiz fight?
It's going to be nice. You know what I mean? I'm coming holy. Since we on some spiritual stuff, I'm coming holy. And
are you bringing the mask out again?
I'm definitely bringing the mask out. You know what I mean? It's gonna be nice. You know what I mean? When people come to my fights, I try to get them a performance. I don't want them just come and see the fight. If you're gonna pay your money, I want you to get, a whole event, something to take away, something that you're like, man, I'm glad I paid my money to come to this event. You know what I mean?
Are these masks you wear, are they expensive? How much stock do you pay?
My costume I paid tens of thousands of dollars.
Wow, for your walkout
for
costume.
my walk, yeah.
Tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Who puts it together? Is it your fiance, your beautiful Taylor Swift, or is it?
Well, I get mine. I don't even know if I want to even say it, cause you know what I mean.
Where do you get it from?
But I'm gonna shout my guy. Next time, I'm gonna say it next time. I'm gonna say it next time because
costumes in the tens of
I got some people coming there, but I don't want everybody to come there and I want everybody to do their own thing at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I've sent people there. You know what I'm saying, to them because I like to see people want to do different things, but I don't want to send everybody there. I got to keep it. Right. If it get out, it get out. But these.
You're working with someone big on this.
Most definitely. Costume. Yeah, most definitely. They do a great job. They do a great job when they're designing my costumes and stuff. So they always have a great vision. I have a vision, and we just collab together and we create something.
Very expensive.
Very expensive, but after all my outfits or whatever I wear, I put them in the shadow box.
It's a damn good reason.
And the penthouse has got everything going around. Like you have the dates, who I fought, and you have the the uniform and stuff. Because once I got my title, everything became sentimental. Then after obtaining the title,
you keep every mask, every outfit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
In a few years, that's going to be worth thousands.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm always putting things in the trust fund and the will for my children. So all that stuff will accumulate
2 views.
up in there. And
That's
stuff
it.
Like that, so.
Oh my God, nothing. Shame on you.
In there and stuff like that, so.
I mean, generations of people to overcome odds and obstacles. I think that's just so beautiful. And if that's your life's purpose, then 100% good for you. Before we let you go, prediction in the rematch. I know we kind of discussed it earlier.
Oh, God. You know, nothing against Joshua, because I think he's excellent. I have to go with the underdog. You know that.
Yeah.
That's my life. So.
That's the Rocky story. It would be disappointing if you chose AJ.
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Congratulations on the film. We can't wait to see it.
Okay, thank you.
Let's just talk about this rematch, but I want to turn back the clock to the first fight, June 1st. What was your reaction to that upset?
Well, you know, I wasn't really surprised because I told people, I said, that kid can fight because I sparred him. I said, I sparred that guy, and he was 19, I was 46, and I said, he the only person that would cut me off and make me fight. And you know, so he, you know what I mean, he know how to close it, he know how to close the gap. So, and consistently what he did to him, he was doing to me. And the thing, and I realized he had fast hand. And you wouldn't think that he hit as hard as he hit. Hey, good hitter.
What's your prediction in the rematch on December 7th, exclusively on DAZN?
Well, I don't have no prediction because the fact of the matter is that great champions are able to make adjustment. And so if he make adjustment, I don't know is Ruiz gonna make the adjustment. So the thing is that when fights like this is the reason why you go to the fight. This is the reason why you pay to see the fight. Because this is what's gonna happen but when I'm gonna have to make some adjustment to win.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see what happens, but I know we are all anxious about this big film that's coming up here tonight that we will all be viewing. Evander, we appreciate your time and enjoy the film. Just enjoy all of this, soak it in.
Thank you.
Thank you. You were on hand on June 1st at Madison Square Garden for one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. What was your reaction to that upset?
I was blown away. I was in shock, like the world was. Not just the boxing world, but the world stopped to observe what Ruiz believed he could do, and he did.
What were your expectations going into the fight? I know you were in the fighter meetings as we're all sitting there following the press conferences, and you know, we look at Andy Ruiz Jr., who is a late ad because Jarrell Miller failed a drug test, and you're looking at him, and then you look at Anthony Joshua, who's a champion, who's arguably one of the biggest athletes over in the UK, and you're thinking, this is going to be Anthony Joshua's fight, hands down. That's what I thought from an aesthetic standpoint.
I somewhat predicted one, maybe two rounds, a slight chance of 2 rounds. And when Ruiz went down, I said, well, it's going to come to fruition. And then when he turned things around and knocked down
Your head jerk off.
rounds. And when Ruiz went down, I said, well, it's going to come to fruition. And then when he turned things around and knocked down AJ, I mean, it was like, what? I mean, I thought it was a movie.
That's what it felt like.
It felt like a movie, you know? AJ, I mean, it was like, what? I mean, I thought it was a movie.
That's what it felt like.
It felt like a movie, you know? So impressed. You can't judge a book by its cover. I've been saying that time and time again. You cannot judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, so if you're watching at home, definitely you cannot judge a book by its cover. You just said that this reminds you a bit of a movie. We have Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone, who's the executive producer on this whole thing. Would you say that Andy Ruiz Jr. is kind of like the real-life Rocky at this point?
Absolutely. That was a Rocky movie. No question about it. Yeah.
So as we approach this highly anticipated rematch in Saudi Arabia on December 7th,
That was a Rocky movie. No question about it. Yeah.
so as we life Rocky at this point?
Absolutely. That was a Rocky movie. No question about it. Yeah.
So as we approach this highly anticipated rematch in Saudi Arabia on December 7th, do you have any predictions, and what do you think will be the key to this fight for either side?
It's going to rely heavily upon AJ. Joshua has to this, and that. You know, he has to pull it all together, put it all back in perspective. Because sometimes, and it happened to me, sometimes we believe the hype that a guy can't fight, a guy can't punch, this and that. That guy's in there to win.
We just saw you rubbing elbows with some of the sport's greatest. What is this like for you? Is this surreal or what?
I couldn't believe it. I was standing next to Rocky. I could not believe it. Sylvester Stallone, the man. Literally, I was kind of starstruck right there. He was like, congrats on your success. And I'm like, what? You know what I'm doing? Like, I thought you were worried about some other stuff. So it's amazing. And I'm actually interested to watch this. Like, I came here because I wanted to watch One Night.
Okay, let's talk about One Night for a second. June 1st was the evening that big upset took place. Were you watching it live, and when you saw it, what was going through your head?
I couldn't believe it. I was actually kind of sad. I was like, no, like I kind of felt it in my heart, like, damn, that hurt me. So like I can imagine what Anthony was feeling. So, you know, I'm excited what he does in the rematch, how he comes back from it, or if Andy could somehow do it again. So I'm interested in seeing that.
I assume you saw the first fight between Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr. on June 1st.
For sure.
What were your thoughts on the upset?
Well, I saw it when I saw it for this documentary. I hadn't seen it before, so I thought it was quite obvious that, you know, Joshua was in command and he was quite sure of himself, and it turned out that this guy was just a tougher guy than he thought. He was a tough fighter, could take a punch, and very quick hands. And I think once he couldn't put him down, you could tell that he didn't have a plan B. He didn't know where to go, and the other guy just took over.
Do you have any predictions for the rematch on December 7th, only on DAZN?
Look, I hope it'll be a good fight. I think they're both two great fighters. I mean, if Joshua wins, there'll be a third fight, so that'd be good. But I just hope it's a great fight and that it's a clean fight and that, you know, they both go for it, you know.
Okay, before we let you go, can we get a good Ivan Drago line or impression into the camera for all the fans watching on YouTube and Facebook?
What do you want me to say?
Anything.
Adrian. No, that was the right guy. Sorry.
That was so good. Yo, Adrian.
If he dies, he dies.
Oh, that was so good. I want to hate you, but you're too cool. Thank you so much, dog. I appreciate it. What do you think about that first upset between Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr.?
I watched it. I purchased my DAZN subscription.
Thank you.
And it was. Can I swear?
Wait, hang on. Let me see. I think you can. I don't know.
I mean, it was fucking insane. It was absolutely insane. You can never underestimate your opponent. I think Ruiz is like a prime example of that. Joshua is a dog, and he didn't show up that day. I mean, I honestly could compare it to me not showing up 2 weeks ago for my fight. Like, some days it just doesn't go your way.
It's real quick, that since you just said that, is that what you think happened? You just didn't show up?
Nah, not at all. Like, that was one of 2 days of my life where I didn't feel like I was living my life. I felt like my life was a movie, and I was watching it, and I had no control of what was happening. The whole day felt so surreal for me, and I don't know what it was, because the first fight wasn't like that. It happens few and far between, but, like, it's one of those days, I guess.
Could we potentially see a third fight?
I will be fighting a third time. I don't know if it'll be against KSI. If I were KSI, I wouldn't fight me again. That seems silly. Like, the circumstances really worked out for him that day, and to me, it just seems like it'd be dangerous for him if he were to try.
So it was just his night, as we have Sylvester Stallone stepping there. But you know what? He's the executive producer of this whole thing.
He just pushed you out of the way. I'd be honored if I were you.
I am. I know. I'm never watching this again.
Come back and push me, bro. Please.
Real quick, we have Ryan Garcia popping his head in. We saw him beat your brother up the other day. That was hilarious. What was going on there?
I don't know why Ryan is here and Jake's not, because Jake is supposedly down in San Diego training with Ryan. But
I had to pop through. You know, I had to come through. I'm his head coach, but I told him, you know, he can run on his own.
Yo, so Jake's at your house in San Diego without you?
Yeah. He's on the couch right now, probably watching TV or something.
I'm not the only one who thinks this is weird.
By the way, we have Tito Ortiz in here.
When it comes down to your MMA, I'll help you with your wrestling and jiu-jitsu, all right?
You're absolutely right.
So for your next one, you can do an MMA match and whoop some ass.
No, we're fighting next. Me and him.
Really?
I actually don't want to.
You're too fast, man. That's not fair.
He's too quick.
We've been setting it up for weeks. What are you talking? I'm just kidding.
Spar Jake.
Yeah, what would happen? What would happen if you two boxed?
We probably, I don't know.
Ryan's too good. Ryan's an actual boxer who's.
Have you seen his hand speed?
Too fast.
I mean, it's insane.
So, Tito, this guy wants to fight MMA. How do you think he would fare?
I think he actually do really well. I've seen his boxing game, and it's decent. He comes from a wrestling background.
He's right. It's decent.
It's decent. I mean, most guys would be like, "Oh, that was horrible," but it was actually pretty good. It was an entertaining fight.
He was the better fighter. I already said that. He was the better fighter. But now MMA. Let's see it happen.
Yeah, see, putting in some wrestling, jiu-jitsu. I mean, I've been doing it for 22 years. I'll be fighting on December 7th against Alberto Del Rio. I'm going to smash him, but my camp's open right now, and I need some big bodies. I took a little headbutt this week on Monday, so I got a little stitches, but my partner, he got 7 stitches on his eyebrow, so I can't use him for sparring, so.
How much you weigh?
217, or 227 right now.
Holy shit. I'm like 200, but we'll make it work.
200?
Yeah.
See, but you're a big guy, so it's good. So it'll work.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, the lights are flashing, and that means it's time to take our seats for the premiere of One Night. Thank you for joining us, Tito. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Logan Paul.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, so that wraps up the One Night Red Carpet Show here on YouTube, on Facebook. It's been straight chaos, but that's what we do here on DAZN. We cover all the action, we get all the biggest interviews, and above all, we have fun. We'll see you later. We're going to grab Mr. Stallone right now. Thank you so much for doing this. First of all, congratulations on the debut of this documentary. What attracted you to this project?
The real life drama, you know, it's one thing to write a script that everyone goes Hollywood fantasy, and then when you see it play out in reality.
With 2 minutes left, I mean, that's a big deal. It really is, especially with the big strikes that Joseph landed. And he's a little bit ahead on the strike differential. Perrin needs to get Dwight back on his butt and either get a finish, do some damage, or he needs to get to his feet and hurt Joseph, I think.
Fighters back to their feet now. Body shot there from Joseph.
Man, with a minute 20 left, for those of you at home, this is when you are just so tired. And you've got to try to finish this guy if you want that contract. This is where it all hangs out. This is where Dana's really watching right now.
We are almost at the 1 minute mark, third round of the fight. This is where you find out how much you want this. Because finishes earn contracts here in the Contender Series, and both of these fighters know it. Pre-fight interviews, times we've talked to them, they know what it takes. 44 seconds to go here in the fight.
Nicely timed double leg by Joseph. However, last 30 seconds shooting for a takedown. When we want finishes is not what Dana generally wants to see, so that's what's so tough when you're tired, when you don't want to get punched. You know, you got to still choose the right decision, and that's what's so hard about this Contender Series is the fight's all different. Different stipulations.
15 seconds to go, third and final round. Very even fight through the first 2 rounds, under 10.
So hard to judge this one. But both these guys put on a great show. They both went from bell to bell trying to hurt each other.
I do not envy the judges here. Officially, Perrin landed 7 more total strikes, but Joseph had a few more significant strikes.
We'll see right here. Nice front kick. I mean, that landed real well. Joseph could have used that a few more times. That big left hand landed. He definitely landed some of the biggest shots. But the takedowns and the mat time of control is really where Perrin got ahead on the scores. But the elbow on the break and the big strikes went to Joseph. And here's the third round here. We see another takedown timed underneath the strikes of Dwight Joseph and locks the hand, slams him to the floor, gets straight to side mount, half guard. And right here he's got an underhook and he times another nice takedown. Left hook, right straight, left uppercut, straight to a double. And he transitions to a single leg here with his head on the inside, goes to dump it. And because of the guillotine attempt from Joseph, he gets taken down.
So it's really a question of what do you like more? Do you like the grappling? Do you like the guy who had top position for the vast majority of the fight? Or do you remember the significant blows landed by the impressive-looking Dwight Joseph?
Well, it comes down to what the judges like and then what Dana likes. Those are two different opinions.
Well, we're going to find out right now as we send it down to Laura Sanko for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score this bout 29-28 for your winner by unanimous decision, Dwight Joseph.
So the judges like the big, significant strikes and not the control time of Dwight Joseph.
You could see the surprise on the face of Jason Perrin as he raised his own hand, obviously in shock that Dwight Joseph gets the win. The 29-year-old from Sacramento by way of Liberia gets a win.
It's hard to be mad at that. I mean, either way, because that fight was so evenly matched, in my opinion, that, I mean, I'm not mad at either winner of that fight. That was a tough one.
Could have absolutely gone either way. Joseph said before the fight he felt like he was better than Jason everywhere. He comes away with the unanimous decision, improves to 10-1 with 1 no contest in his career. Certainly a lot of happy teammates at Team Alpha Male, Uriah Faber and company responsible for training Dwight Joseph. He came into this when there's Uriah right there as a slight underdog and goes the distance to get the win. The question, as it always is at the end of these fights, is it enough to earn the contract? He certainly looks the part as he makes his way to chat with Laura Sanko. Moved to the States as a teenager. Lived in Nebraska, then Sacramento, where he's been training with Team Alpha Male since 2015.
I wish it was better, guys. Sorry, not happy with my performance, but we pulled it off.
Well, he realizes a win doesn't always get you the contract, but you know what? It's a win. On the Contender Series, let's send it to Laura.
Thanks so much, guys. Dwight, wow, what a crazy fight, a very, very close fight. When I was reading that decision now, did you feel like you had done enough to get the judges' scorecards?
Yeah, I knew it was a close one. He was very tough. I didn't get off like I wanted to. Yeah. You know, he was catching some of my kicks. I wish I would have kicked him more. But it was a tough fight. He's a tough competitor. And I'm just happy we pulled it off, you know?
You just apologized to the camera as you were walking out here. Why'd you do that? What's the thought?
Well, I wanted to showcase more of my skills. I'm much better than I performed. I was only able to show a little bit. And like I said, it was a very tough fight. Perhaps my calculations were a little off, but I'm going to get back in the gym as soon as possible and work on it.
You landed some phenomenal kicks, especially early on in the fight. Those leg kicks, those teep kicks. Was that a big part of the camp coming into this?
Yes, I love to kick. So that teep got him right there, that one you see right there. And I could see it in his eyes that he was hurt. And so I put some pressure on him and tried to kick him on the other side of the body, but he caught it. And that's how he got the takedown and scored a lot of takedowns that way. But I wish I would have, showcased more of my skills, more of my combinations, my stand-up skills. But, we did what we had to do.
You were throwing power from bell to bell. Do you feel like that was a big part of you getting the judge's decision here, was just how much power you were throwing?
I didn't even know if I was throwing that much power. I knew when he came within striking range, I was going to try to hit him as hard as possible to keep him at bay. But, it just didn't pan out like I wanted to, as far as showcasing my skills. So that's what I was really apologizing for. But it was a hard-fought fight, and I'm happy I came up on top.
You just certainly showed some striking, some takedowns. You got the Team Alpha Male behind you there. What's it mean to you to have those guys in your corner?
Man, those guys are the guys who make me better, Every day in there grinding with those guys, it picks up your confidence. I keep looking at myself. Sorry, I'll look up at the camera. Yeah, it helps with your confidence going in there with the killers of Alpha Male, the General Uriah Faber. I have Elkins in my corner. Slava's my kickboxing guy over there from Russia. Yeah, it's a crowded mat. It's a very talented mat. I'm happy that I got, picked to compete up here. Next time I'm gonna do better, I promise.
Congrats on a very hard-fought win.
Thank you.
Going to your victory. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Dwight Joseph. Realizing he was looking at himself when he's talking on camera. It's okay, Dom. It happens to all of us.
Not every day.
Gets the big win. A 7-fight win streak now for Dwight Joseph. Up next, we're at middleweight. Tombstone Taylor Johnson, owner of the fastest knockout in LFA history at just 8 seconds, facing what should be a stiff test against the experienced Andre Muniz, who's been fighting as a professional for a decade. Dana White's Contender Series is brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of the UFC. The new UFC Apex, a state-of-the-art mixed martial arts facility that is the new home of Dana White's Contender Series, and soon a whole lot more. Up next, it's a clash of middleweights. A heavy-handed Oregonian will have his hands full with an experienced 29-year-old from Brazil. A win on the Brazilian edition of the Contender Series put Andre Muniz in the sights of the UFC. And tonight, he plans on punching his ticket to the show by turning back knockout artist Taylor Johnson.
I honestly feel I can beat anyone on the planet right now. I've seen this in my mind. It's happened over and over. I haven't met a lot of men who are going to be able to stand up to what I'm going to bring to the table. I'm Taylor Johnson, 28 years old, fighting out of San Diego, California. I'm from Redmond, Oregon. I was born in Eugene, spent most of my life there. I come from a line of cowboys, just hard-working people. Being ranch raised, there's obviously a lot of work there. And, you do everything your parents do. You build fence, you move hay all summer, you move hay when it's, you got to feed your horses, you got to go clean up after them. I think it's huge for a young man to come up that way because now everything thrown at me, I was doing, fighting wild animals as a little kid, flanking calves, branding cattle. It transfers really well into wrestling and MMA. I wrestled from high school into college, wrestled a few years, like 2.5 years at Oregon State in Corvallis, and then transitioned from there to Southern Oregon University. When you transition to MMA from wrestling, it's like you either try to go to the Olympics or you go to MMA. And I've always had super heavy hands. Honestly, I went the fighting route because I kind of challenged myself. It is a little scary to get into the cage, to be defeated. People have high expectations of you, and you go out there and you could potentially lose. It's like a little gamble, and it's almost like I'm facing my fears at times. This opportunity with Contender Series is huge for me. I've been waiting for a long time just to be able to perform in front of Dana, so I'm glad I got this opportunity, but I just hope he's excited. I know that my style of fighting, you're going to be excited, period. I'm going to go out there like I'm killing snakes. I think you guys are in for a real treat tonight.
Essa oportunidade é tudo na minha vida. Eu sei que eu não vou ter outra chance. Quero mostrar para o mundo MMA que eu sou um showman, que eu posso dar show em todos os palcos do mundo, principalmente no UFC. Meu nome é André Moniz de Aguiar, tenho 29 anos, sou da equipe TFT. Eu comecei muito novo no jiu-jitsu, com 13 anos de idade. Logo no começo da minha carreira de MMA, tive um ano muito difícil. Eu tive uma fratura de crânio, que eu tomei uma jurada que eu quebrei meu crânio na frente. Na próxima luta eu quebrei a mandíbula. Foi um ano muito difícil, além das dificuldades que a gente encontra no Brasil, de questão de patrocínio, de incentivar o esporte, mas nada disso nunca deixou me abater, eu sempre caminhando para frente e acreditando que a minha oportunidade um dia iria chegar, e chegou. Eu luto para a minha família e a minha esposa Mariana, tenho 2 filhas, Ana Tereza e Maria Isabel, então elas são tudo na minha vida, através delas eu tiro a minha motivação, meus treinos diários, eu fico longe delas um bom período do tempo, então eu tento fazer esse tempo valer a pena, então o meu máximo, e dar a elas esse contrato, que não é só o meu, é delas também. Hoje muda tudo para melhor, porque eu vou conseguir o meu contrato, minha mão vai ser levantada essa noite, porque eu treino todos os dias, há 10 anos, para esse momento. E eu vou nocautear meu oponente, vou mostrar um show dentro do octagon, do Contender Series. Por isso o Dan White vai me dar o contrato.
Andre Sergipano Muniz, a plus 210 underdog coming into this fight. A 29-year-old out of Brazil. There's Thiago Santos behind him on the crutches. Of course, had that fight against John Jones when they were both coming out in wheelchairs. That was an absolute war. And you may remember Muniz from Contender Series Brazil, episode 2. He fought Bruno Assis and won by unanimous decision. Interesting, he good friends with Assis, so kind of a difficult fight.
Yeah, what I like about the stats of Muniz is, basically his 11 submission wins. He's got three arm bars, 3 guillotines, 2 triangles. I mean, he mixes it up. But what I like is the guillotines and the arm bars, because those are fundamental techniques that work well against high-level wrestlers. And Taylor Johnson, man, this guy's power double leg is something to deal with. And he's extremely strong and very good from the top. So Muniz is going to need that guard game in this matchup.
You mentioned 11 wins by submission, 11 first-round finishes as well, and some of his submission wins have come early in the first, 37 seconds, 45 seconds, had one at 240. Andre Muniz, a very talented fighter. And he is undoubtedly going to have his hands full against Tombstone Taylor Johnson, the minus 250 favorite. Coming into this fight undefeated at 5-0. Fighting out of San Diego by way of Redmond, Oregon. Victory MMA down there in San Diego is where he trains. And you've actually trained with him before, Don.
Yeah, he's gotten to come down to Alliance Training Center. He cross-trained with us a little bit. And, this guy, he's got one of the fastest knockouts in history in another organization. 8 seconds, and that's just because when you watch the way this guy moves, you'll understand. He wrestles so well that guys they start dropping their guard to stop his double leg, and then he comes over the top with a powerful, powerful right hand. He'll lay you out if you're not careful. So you gotta watch for the right hand, you gotta watch for the double leg, and with those two things, what is the style you gotta use to fight Taylor Johnson? Well, we're gonna find out if Muniz has it, but kicks, knees, elbows, and a guard game are going to be very useful against a style like Taylor Johnson.
Talk about that 8-second knockout, the fastest in LFA history. That came in 2017 against Dan Huber. This guy was an All-American wrestler at Oregon State. Time now for the tale of the tape. 1 year separates the two men in age, obvious height advantage for Muniz, and a reach advantage as well. Chris Taioni, our referee for this one, our second fight of the evening here on the Contender Series. Let's get it going.
Ready, sir? Ready? Fight. Watch that right hand. Already caught him with the left hook. And Johnson straight to the power double leg to a slam.
Exactly what you were talking about.
Oh, damn.
And this is where the guard game is going to need to be seen. But Taylor Johnson comes heavy in this first round. He finishes a lot of people with this type of prowess that he brings right here. But watch the arm bars. That's what he's good at.
Oh, shit.
Moves him to the ground again to avoid the arm bar. This guy comes out like a caged animal. The longest fight, just 2 minutes and 43 seconds.
Taylor Johnson cross-trains with Dean Lister and Jocko out there in California, so he's very well versed in jiu-jitsu. He understands it very well, plus the wrestling. But realistically, Muniz has a whole different skill set when it comes to his height and the way that he moves around on the mat. It's just different when you're a wrestler compared to a jiu-jitsu practitioner. We use different skill sets. Right now, Muniz on the back of Taylor Johnson is not what was wanted. Promise that.
Talked earlier about the wrestling experience for Taylor Johnson. Started at Oregon State, and then he transferred to Southern Oregon, where he became a national champion.
Over the snail.
Small NAI school in Central
What are you,
Oregon.
like a turtle?
No, you're exactly, no, my fault.
Turtle.
This is the typical battle. You got the three-time All-American wrestler versus the black belt Brazilian
Oh,
Jiu-Jitsu.
shit.
They go, who wins?
Right.
we're seeing right now. Back and forth battle.
And as expected, the fight's on the ground.
That choke is under the chin, but it's on the chin, but not under the chin. So that just hurts real bad. But Johnson generally is going to want to go to his back here. This is not the position he wants. Oh, that's it.
Wow. That's it.
Another submission choke.
Andre Muniz, his 18th professional win, and he does it in the first round.
And you know, one of the things about Muniz when you watch his film is he's also a hammer, and he can also be a nail. And right there we saw Taylor Johnson be the hammer early, but when it was time to be the nail, Muniz got the better of it. Right here, big right hand, and then he gets counter, boom, counter right straight. It's like a counter right hook. He gets double legged, slammed so hard. I mean, look at the power that Johnson hits you with, pushes you around, slams you. And we see here, he gets it under the chin. Johnson not going to his back soon enough, gives up the choke, gets the crank in here, and then when he flips over, that's how you know that gets sunk in. When you see his hips go over to the edge right here, that's where that choke starts to really threaten, and that's why Taylor's forced to tap. Nice transitions by Muniz, showing his black belt skills there. To the edge right here, that's where that choke starts to really threaten, and that's why Taylor's forced to tap. Nice transitions by Muniz, showing his black belt skills there.
Montes Claros, Minas Gerais, Brasil. É tudo nosso. É de Montes Claros pro mundo. É Aldana, contato.
The 12th first round.
To the edge right here, that's where that choke starts to really threaten, and that's why Taylor's forced to tap. Nice transitions by Muniz, showing his that gets sunk in. When you see his hips go over to the edge right here, that's where that choke starts to really threaten, and that's why Taylor's forced to tap. Nice transitions by Muniz, showing his black belt
Pessoal
skills
de
there.
Montes Claros, Minas Gerais, Brasil. É tudo nosso. É de Montes Claros pro mundo. É Aldana, contato.
The 12th first round finish of Muniz's career. Lorisenko in the octagon to make it official.